Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on forgotten weapons. I'm Ian. Something that I've gotten a lot of requests on over the last several years is some more information on Lugers. It seems like there are a lot of people out there who are very interested in Lugers, and it's an interesting and in some ways it's kind of a difficult subject to approach. Let's start with the fact that Lugers have been manufactured just about since the turn of the 20th century. There are tons of them out there. They've been made by a whole bunch of different people. They were used by a whole bunch of different countries through both world wars. There's just this massive amount of information out there on Lugers. On top of that, Lugers have been collectible for pretty much this entire time. So, you know, even right at the end of World War II, there were people out there who were as deeply into Luger collecting as anybody is today, really. So the literature that developed around the Luger was kind of based on, written for these serious collectors. And at the same time, we're talking literature written decades before the advent of the internet. Communication was a lot more difficult. Finding rare examples and strange, unusual, transitional, developmental pistols, things like that, was a lot more difficult. You had to really put down some good connections in order to be able to find the guns that you would need to study to write an effective book about the Luger. So a number of these books got written, and some of them, on the one hand, some of them just aren't really all that useful, especially today. Some of them are quite detailed, but they're very much detail-oriented for the serious collector. And so they don't necessarily actually form that good of a resource for someone who just wants to learn about where'd the Luger come from, what are the different variants out there, what am I even looking at with this pistol? You know, I can't tell if this pistol was made in 1910 or 1950. What's the deal? So, in my opinion, there are the two Luger books that are most worth buying. The first one is if you want to know everything, if you want to know all the details, if you want to know about those weird little obscure contracts over here and over there, I think the book to buy is Jeffrey Sturgis's book. It's this multi-thousand-page encyclopedic tome in 3 volumes on the Borchardt and the Luger. It covers other pistols that were kind of developed side by side with those, and accessories, ammo, blueprints. It's got more detail than any other book out there. It's expensive. It's like $300 for the 3 volumes, but if you want all the detail, that's, I think, the one to go to. Now, and I'm sure there are some people out there, absolutely, that's who the book was written for, who want that kind of detail. But I think there are also people, in fact, there are probably a lot more people out there, who just kind of want a good introductory book to the Luger. You know, not a coffee table book full of pictures, but something that actually describes the history, the development, and the manufacture of the Luger. I want to know more about it. You know, they're interesting guns. For those people, the book that I would very much recommend is the P08 Luger pistol. This is volume 3 of a series called Propaganda Photo Series. These are published by a couple of very cool, very smart guys out of the Netherlands. Like I said, this is volume 3. They've done 8 or 10 of them, I think, on pretty much every different type of weapon that Germany used during World War II. Well, what they do in these books, and this one is no exception, is about the first 50 pages give you really an excellent overview of the pistol. Its history, its development, its markings, its accessories. This touches on things like experimental silencers, on the World War I drum magazines, explains all the different major manufacturers and what their markings will be, how the numerical sequences were done on the gun, where they were made, when they were made, why they were made. For example, developmental things like the German Navy actually adopted the Luger before the German Army. The Navy adopted them in 1904. The Army was busy spending a lot of money upgrading to Kar 98 rifles. They didn't get around to devoting the money and the attention to adopting the Luger until 1908. Things like this. For a basic overview history, I don't think you can beat this. And then what makes it really cool is the next 100 pages after that are all field photographs of the Luger in combat conditions. Now these are almost all World War II pictures. There are a few pre-World War II pictures in there, but it's primarily focused on World War II because that is the focus of this series of books. However, you'll see both training pictures, staged pictures for photographers in combat zones, and also live, real-time combat footage pictures of the Luger actually being used. And that's something that I think these books do quite well that you don't get from a lot of other books, is really some kind of context of how these guns fit into a combat zone. So if you're one of those folks who's looking for an introductory book that gives you a basic mix of information on the Luger. I think this is the one to go with. It's not all that expensive. They're still in print as far as I know. Price is 30 to 40 bucks. I think 40 is the cover price, and you can find it on Amazon used in new copies from the low 30s and up. So if you are looking for the basic introductory book on the Luger, I would strongly recommend this. If you like it, frankly, you'll probably like some of the other books in the series, but if you want to know about the Luger, I think this is the way to go. Once you burn out on this book and you just need more information, then save up some money, take the big step, buy Sturgis's Encyclopedia Lugerotica, and have everything you'd ever want to know. But until then, good place to start. And I don't know that this is a book that necessarily gets a lot of publicity, but I think it's well worth it. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I can bring a book to light that can help scratch that itch for Luger information. It certainly seems like there are a lot of people out there who are hungry for information on the Luger, and I think this is a good place to start. If you check the link in the description text below, I actually have a link to it on Amazon where you can find it, although you should be able to find it at a wide variety of online book dealers as well. So thanks for watching.